Hi guys, I'm Shmi and hello to you from Scotland. Today I'm shooting the second in my video series with Mobil 1 around the launch of the Endless Roadtrip game. If you haven't already played it, the link is right down below in the description. So for the first video, I was driving my Porsche Cayman GT4 up the Col de la Bonnette, over 2,800 metres high, the highest paved road in Europe. And today, we're at the Knockhill 4x4 off-road circuit with the Bentley Bentayga. I'm going to be testing the car and pushing it to its limits, or at least trying to do so, because of course this is about engine performance and capabilities. So we're going to be heading off and driving around this rather challenging off-road course. So we'll be trying to go down there and seeing what the car is capable of as part of what is pretty much my endless road trip, traveling around filming all of these videos. So before we get down there, I'm going to take the car for a little drive on the road, show you more about it and some of the different driving modes and how you can handle a course like this in a car like the Bentayga. It's a beautiful machine. We've got the 6-litre twin turbocharged W12 putting out 608 horsepower, dark sapphire blue, already a little bit dirty from our drive up from the airport. It's probably going to look rather different later on. So first up, let's get started, take the car out on the road and try it out in the normal comfort and sport modes. It's rather chilly today, so this is really testing the car, and it's quite nice to get back inside. It may be sunny, but having the heated seats and heated steering wheel and all of that kind of stuff is an absolute delight on a day like today. So we're going to play a little bit with Bentley's dynamic drive control and talk about what the car's like first out on the road. So I'm going to start it off where it sort of naturally gets moving in the Bentley setting. So you can literally change everything. You can change the ride height, you can change all the settings, all the different bits and bobs. You've got an 8-speed ZF gearbox. The car is amazingly quiet. It is so luxurious. Everything you touch, we've got this imperial blue leather, the chestnut wood veneers all around the dashboard. Everything is beautiful, so elegant and lovely to sort of touch and feel, and the finish of it. And I showed a lot more of that when I did the initial sort of test drive with Bentayga. But you just sort of waft along, the power is effortless. The top speed is 187 miles per hour. That's 301 kilometers an hour, and it gets to 60 in 4 seconds flat. This is a pretty powerful W12, over 900 Newton meters of torque as well. And it just makes you want to sort of drive along and cruise and enjoy the ride. We've got the 5-seat configuration in here, a very highly spec'd car, so there are loads and loads and loads of options. You can spin it down into sport mode, it will drop a gear, and it gets really, really quick. There's a lot of power available under your right foot there. So it may be 2.4 tons, but it drives remarkably well. Let me pull over somewhere and show you the drive modes in a little bit more detail. We've arrived back at the start of the off-road course, and this is where I want to show you a little bit about the settings and the Bentley dynamic drive mode selector that we've got here. So as default, you have the Bentley Mode, which is a blend of sport and comfort, sort of specified by Bentley's chassis engineers. We've been driving in sport mode, we've got comfort mode, and then you can have custom that obviously defines all of that and sets it up how you like. But then you've got these additional modes, 4 extra settings, which I'm going to go through now. So just scrolling it up here, we go into the first setting, where on the display panel we can see a little bit of information. So I've just put it into snow and grass mode, where we've got improved vehicle control on slippery surfaces. We've also got dirt and gravel, enhanced vehicle composure on gravel and dirt surfaces. Then we've got what we'll use today, optimized vehicle control, comfort and clearance for trail driving in the mud and trail mode. And finally, you'd also have sand if you were driving, like I did at the launch, in the dunes. So we will be in mud and trail mode. And along with that, we can also raise the ride height even further. So it was by default in the raise mode. We can put it up to the top, raise the air suspension, and go into the full off-road mode. And all of this is done through so many variables, to the dampers, the air suspension, all of the other components in the adjustable setup we've got here. So that's part of the optional sort of specification on this car. You've got features like hill descent control that we'll be playing with as well. So this has raised the suspension. In theory, if I were to jump out now, which I will do just quickly to show you the arches gap on the wheels, you can see that it's gone nicely high. It sat maybe here before, which is going to give us more clearance at the front. You've always got to be conscious of this sort of angle that you've got between the front bumper and the contact point of the tyre down there, because ultimately that's going to be the dictator to what you're able to do when you're off-road. The same at the rear, but with it nicely high with the raised suspension, we're in the strongest possible position to get ourselves started and attack the off-road course. Now, we're driving a Bentley today because Mobil 1 have been Bentley's factory oil supplier for over a decade, and more recently also working with the Bentley Motorsports team, so cars like the Continental GT3. Now, we're not necessarily going full crazy off-roading today, because remember, this is a road car, so you can't necessarily compare it to the sort of massive pickups and crazy machines. But what we are going to do is test out a little bit of what it is capable of, especially with terrain kind of like what's in front of me. So we're in all of the correct driving modes. This is some loose ground, a little bit steep. Let's be consistent with the power and see if we can get up. That was actually quite easy. I'm quite impressed. Went up that first little hill without a hitch at all. So let's try the next bit. The thing you have to remember with off-roading, contrary to your natural expectation, is that you have to turn the wheel a little bit away from the direction you're going to get the grip. It's a bit like sort of dealing with oversteer and understeer when you're racing. It's all very unnatural. One of the biggest things doing this is the ground clearance. So I've just got to take it steady as we go through all these dips, up into the air, back down again. This car is actually really surprising me, because this is some slippy, squishy mud that we are driving through right now without any struggle at all. Let's go find ourselves some slightly deeper water to make a splash in. This is our first bit of water then, taking it, well, proper water, taking it carefully. Now, thanks parking sensors, let's turn you off, we don't want any of that. This isn't too deep, but we've got to be careful for any stones or rocks that could have moved underneath. Just take it slowly. Okay, we're wading then. onto dry land we go again, out of the stream. That worked completely fine. And we've got a pretty steep uphill here. This is a perfect example of hill descent control. So this is a really steep bit of hill. If I take my foot off, we're not going to roll anywhere. If I give it a little bit of throttle, it will basically note the fastest speed I let the car go and control the descent at that speed. So this is 1 mile per hour. I'm not touching the pedals at all. The car is doing its thing to keep the descent to 1 mile an hour. Down here into the water. Now I'm going to give it a little bit more throttle just to pull us around this corner as we head up the stream. Technology like that, all the computers doing their thing, it's pretty magical really. Like, it's so easy almost. That's the thing, this is so easy to drive on terrain that is utterly bonkers. It'd be quite funny to bring a low supercar here, just if you didn't mind destroying it. But driving this, it's a doddle, it's a walk in the park. Hold on people. Goodness me, this is steep. But it's taking it without a doddle. We're basically pointing right down the ground. Hill descent control again. That's such a magical feature. And the car just cruising down. How ridiculous is this? Loose ground. Let's point up at the sky. Let the car do its thing. You can hear the engine working away here. Up we go. I have no idea what degree we've just gone up to. It felt pretty steep to me, but we're up and we're out. Wow. This has been an awful lot of fun, and I think I'm pretty blown away by the capabilities of this car. I knew it was going to be good, but driving it in the sort of sloshy mud has really been impressive. So now we've got to return it to our sort of normal driving mode. So let's spin that to the Bentley mode, which also means pulling down the suspension. So we'll drop that, and you can see now it's actually going to drop it all the way to the lowest suspension setting. So I'm going to keep the engine running just so it stays warm in here. But I haven't really shown much of the interior, and it is really a very, very nice finish and fit and trim, and you can see everything looking truly beautiful in there. Everything you expect from a luxurious Bentley. All right then. Well, today's opportunity has been all thanks to the launch of Mobil One's Endless Roadtrip game. You can play it yourself, the links are down below, and it's all about how Mobil One oils will help you get the maximum performance or to use a vehicle like we have done today in pretty extreme conditions. It's rather chilly here in Scotland, and I've been driving a W12 powered Bentley through streams, which is an unusual thing to do, just like we also took the GT4 up to the Alpine peaks in France, and there's one more video still to come as well that I'm rather looking forward to. And better yet, the winner, the person playing the game who scores the highest number of points, is going to win a VIP exclusive prize of a trip for two to the 2017 Barcelona Grand Prix. So what are you waiting for? Give it a go. The links are down below. A big thanks from me to Mobil One for making today possible, bringing the Bentayga here to Knockhill. My second time driving in this car, and I had just as much fun as the first. It's a very, very special machine. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it for now, and I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.